I'm the flyest motherfucker at the kickback, not a competition, little boy with a wrist that. Meet me in the bathroom, I don't wanna chit chat.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kickback podcast. My name is Joan. I'm talking about myself. I kind of have to have these headphones on because I got to be able to hear myself, but at the same time, I'm hearing myself and studying over my words like usual. But yeah, welcome back to the Kickback podcast. There's no guest, it is just me. And I want to get used to this. I know that I've talked about it before, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a lot to yourself, I guess, to figure out. You have this like high expectation of yourself. At least I do. I have this high expectation of myself because I know my ability and like how good I can do this. It's just a matter of doing it. And I guess in a way, when I really think about it, it's like fear. Because I know I can do it, but it's like, can I do it good enough? If you're an artist or like a creator and that, like in any aspect, whether it be honestly in anything that you do, I was going to say like a whole bunch of different like creative talents, but it goes with everything that you do. I would say, um, even with making coffee, I've seen people on TikTok that had their whole channels dedicated to making coffee and making it so nice and beautiful and tasty and finding out the science, the artistic side to coffee. And it's something as simple as coffee. Cheers to coffee. I love my coffee. I probably shouldn't be drinking this so early, but it's okay. It is what it is, you know? But yeah, when it comes to this podcast, I have been thinking a lot on how good I wanted to make it for you guys, right? Like even the like to the guests that have come on my podcast and have talked to me. Thank you, first of all. Thank you to all the guests who have been on this podcast. You guys have been amazing. It's so incredible to be able to share or hear slash receive information from somebody else's mind, somebody else's experiences, somebody else's life. And that's art, you know? That's really what art is. It's just you, your memories, your experiences, everything that you've encountered throughout your life is put into art. And that's kind of what I'm learning with podcasting. I've been doing podcasting in this past, like 54 episodes, trying to produce a video for you guys that hopefully you enjoy. It may not be the most entertaining thing in the world compared to some other podcasts. I realize that. And maybe I'll never get there. Maybe I'll never be the most entertaining podcast in the world. Maybe I will never be the most successful podcast in the world. But as time passes by, I've been able to realize that it's not about that. And I know that it's easy to think, well, yeah, no shit. If it's never been about that, you should be focused on this and that. But there's a difference between just saying it and doing it, to be quite honest with you. And we've heard it countless amount of times, but it's so true. It's so true. That whole expression of it's it's easier saying it than doing it. Because you can say and talk shit all you want, but to do it, it's so funny when people critique art. Like, oh, you could have done this better. You could have done like. There's advice for sure. There's tips and advice that artists will gladly take once they've learned to put their ego aside and just be able to hear someone out, listen to their mind, and adapt and work as a team, collaborative, gain knowledge. I'm maybe going on a fun tangent, but see, like this little things that I'm afraid of when I'm doing podcasting, that I'm incompetent. That's a word that I've learned. Incompetent when it comes to doing podcasting because I feel like I just can't do it. That I don't have any experience to talk about. That I'm not as wise as some of these other podcasters. That I just don't fit the part of a podcaster, And I've had some haters Hold on, what is that? Organize your desktop. I don't want to organize my desk. Oh, it went away. I had some haters already. Sad. It's so sad to see who your haters are. Like, I could care less. I'm gonna be if for all my haters watching, I could care less. Trust me. I have bigger problems to solve than your little feelings, right? And that's some great advice for all of you out there that have haters and they're just constantly for some reason judging you. It's so fucking weird. Like go mind your business, dog. You don't have to watch, but yet you're here. Welcome to the Kickback podcast. But it kind of like at the same time, if you let it could demotivate you, or not even demotivate you, but start to question yourself. Can I actually do this? Am I capable of ceased an hour and just talk my mind out, see what I learn from myself, see what I learn from the person that's coming. It's a matter of patience. Patience has always been one of those things that I always thought I have so much of because I focus so much time and energy into becoming patient, into becoming the idea of patience. But you never really know what patience is until you've understood it fully. A lot of you right now may even be thinking, I'm super patient. Oh, I'm the most patient person in the world. But I know that there's probably something that ticks you off like this. As of recently, God has been testing my patience. And I'm not saying that in a bad way or like a diss to God. You know, he really has been testing my patience and I'm learning a lot from it. Even the whole idea of God is something that blows my mind. Like it's supposed to make sense that a man was on earth and he died for our sins on a cross and this and that. You know, the whole religious aspect of God. And you could go down those lanes for sure. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. There's so many beautiful things to learn in religion. That's one thing that I've learned. That there's so much to learn and it's quite beautiful to learn. In any religion, whether it be Muslim or Christian. I'm not saying I'm like a super religious person. It's just you have to have some sort of religious, I guess, view on the world or on your life in some sort of way. And I don't know if I don't know, this might be the cheesiest thing to say, but I guess in a way, my religion that I've learned is love, right? I think that's the biggest religion compared to any. It's something that every human, no matter what your differences are, no matter what race you are, what country you're from, what language you speak, it's something that every single person of the human species needs to learn to live through. And right now we're seeing, I guess, a lot of hatred in people's hearts. I don't know why. It's just they're just not happy with themselves, I guess, with other people, with I don't know. It's quite scary. Especially that I'm only 21 years old and I'm noticing these things. Sorry, I'm starting over my voice in the headphones. And I'm noticing these things already, you know? Maybe it's just the year that we're in. It's currently June 5th, 2023, right? The world is crazy. The world has lost its mind. And there's a lot of us who are still trying to keep that sanity. And it feels almost as if the world has a problem with it. Where it's like, no, we get that you're doing better. We get that you're feeling good. But you can't be feeling good. You have to be here in this world with us, miserable and never achieving anything besides good. And the thought of that, not even to myself, because I look at myself and I swear, like, as much, I may not be fully there yet at all, even with my speech. does limit me a lot because I start to think lower and lower and lower of myself when I just can't seem to do things to the point that I know I can. But when I say that I see myself as great, I try to think of any other question around it. Am I really great? Who would tell me that I'm not great in the future? Why would they say that I'm not great in the future? It's questions, a lot of questions that I've been asking myself that I could ask a lot of different people. And I feel like going into podcasting in the future would be very interesting, especially with the knowledge that I've been gaining over this past year or two at this point. One thing that I've been saying is that the first year of me doing all this was just, it's because I went into this like acting as if I already knew how to do everything. Like, all right, I do this, I get that. And then once I do that, I go do this. And then this will lead to success. Let's go, team. But it was more like, Joan, you're about to set yourself on a journey that you think you have an idea of what it's going to look like. But dog, you have no clue what's ahead of you. But all you can do is learn from it and learn to understand what you've learned. Fully understand it. I'm talking like ask as many questions to yourself as possible. I feel like I'm talking too slow. Am I talking too slow? I don't know. But I am enjoying talking slow. I have learned that too. That when I'm accelerated, like I'm like super high up in pace, that I tend to jump to things quicker. That sometimes the person will be talking to me right in front of me and I'm like, yeah, but it's not exactly that I want to interrupt. It's more like I'm so excited that you're talking to me that I want to talk to you so much in such a little amount of time so we can fit in so much right here, right now. Let's keep going. I'm in this. I'm so excited that you're talking to me. And it's good that I feel like that. But one thing that I've understood from it is that I'll have a much better conversation with somebody when I slowly think of what I want to say and what I want to hear. Or not even what I want to hear, but fully intake what they're telling me. Truly listen to what they're saying. I've talked about that on the podcast before, about truly listening to what others are saying. And as much as you may think that you've mastered that, oh, I'm a great listener. Oh, I'm the best listener. I understand people so well. So many different thoughts that you may have about yourself, and that's good. But you're not fully there yet. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're not fully there yet. There's so much to learn, man. And that's just, knowledge can be so scary, but so beautiful. Wisdom, learning, so beautiful. But it's crazy when people say ignorance is bliss, because it's contradictory. Like, how can wisdom be beautiful but ignorance be bliss? You know what I mean? And it's because ignorance is not bliss. You're lying to yourself. That's what it is. You're lying to yourself. Instead of stop, understand what you just learned, and then take that with you for the rest of your life. You see what I mean? It's little circles in my head about little topics that it's just so interesting to me because I'm really enjoying the art of learning. And even though I haven't fully gotten there, I know how great it's going to be to understand some questions that the world hasn't even asked itself. And it's something so small, like the simplest questions, but it's just nobody has taken the time to ask yourself and fully understand that. Like, for example, just stop right here, right? Pause the podcast in a little bit once I ask you, how are you feeling today? Simple question, right? How are you feeling today? Why are you feeling that way? When you woke up in the morning, were you feeling that same way? What caused that change? Or what caused it to be the same? Little questions about yourself. Why was I feeling that way? When did I start? How can it change? Why did it change? And I feel like the more questions you ask yourself, the more you get to know yourself, the more, I guess, simple everything turns out to be. Like, dog, we're out here stressing over the smallest, most insignificant things that even if you tried 100%, 130% at, that it still won't matter at the end of the day. A lot of you guys are stressing out over whether or not you can pass a class, over something that you love. But if you really loved that, you wouldn't be stressing out about passing the class because you did it. You did it with love. You did it with joy. You did it with passion. Your biggest school is what I'm saying. Life is your biggest school. I don't know. I still do limit myself in the things that I say, but I know that one day I'm just gonna be out here saying whatever I want. And it's so sad that now we live in a time where you really have to be careful about what you say, because they'll get on your, I was gonna say throat, neck, either fits, but they come at you, you know. People will fucking come and try to take you down because they just don't agree with the things that you say. But it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about I guess hearing the other person out and coming up with your own conclusion. Because listen, you don't have to agree with everything that I say. You don't have to at all. And I don't have to agree with anything that you say or with everything that you say. But there are some key points that I could point out and be like, yep, that I agree with that. But then again, there could be those points where I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with that. But this is why. This is why I don't agree with that. And I hope you understand it. And maybe with my understanding of what you said, maybe you come to a whole new understanding that truly gives you peace in your heart, that doesn't make you keep questioning it, or at least you question it less. Like, for example, I'll say an example right here. I was on Twitter, right? And I said, anyone who supports evil is evil. And I feel like we can all agree on that statement, because you know what evil looks like. You know, even if it's evil to somebody else's eyes, you've seen it in different perspectives, and various different perspectives. And you've realized that, no, that person, that thing, that anything is not evil. And here is why. I've understood the why, right? If you support evil, you are evil. If that person is doing something evil and you know it's evil and you're still there, you should stop and rethink, am I being evil too? Scary questions. Very scary questions that will take you to the darkest pits of your mind. But you need to go there. You need to go there. That's what I'm saying. Dude, do not be afraid to discover who you are. All right? Such a relief in saying that. You know, don't be afraid to discover who you are. Because trust me, there's a lot within you that you do not know, that you never even tapped into, dude. I'm sorry saying dude, but dude, there's so much inside of you that you don't even know because you've never even tried. Dude, it's scary. All right. And I'm looking at you as a person right now. I don't know. I know it's just a YouTube video. All right. But I'm really speaking here as if you're right in front of me. There's a lot to you. Don't be afraid to find that out. Because once you see why it's scary, why it's so frightful, why it could be so dark, you also begin to understand why it's so beautiful, why it's so brilliant, why it's so full of light, you know? Why you're so full of light. There's a lot to you. And I feel like the world just, I think that we've come to a point where they don't want you to find that out about yourself, that there is a lot to you, that this, what you see around you, how everyone lives, is the normal way to live, that this is the norm. I'm sorry. Listen, there's no offense to anybody. And that's one thing that I do want to say right here, right now, is that I never wish ill upon anybody. All right. Even if I don't like you, even if you're not a good person to me, I will say, all right, fuck off then. Right. It is what it is. You can go, but you know, I will never have that little hatred for somebody in my heart. It's just more of a disassociation question mark. I don't know if that's the right word. One thing that I heard Mike Tyson say he was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Because then the devil wins. You can't let the devil win. You can't say goodbye. You can't let people go because then you let the devil win. You know? And and I wouldn't say that it hurt me, but I really took it into consideration. I was like, am I letting the devil win by not allowing this person into my atmosphere anymore? It's not, and I thought about it. I was like, no. The devil is not winning here. It's more like my God is doing me a favor by just simply not having this person around. Or it's not even like looking to push someone away. It's just more of remaining to yourself. I don't know. I feel like I'm going on a little tangent about that, and I'm still figuring it out. I love figuring it out. Maybe I'll come back on here and I'll be able to figure it out even more with you. But figuring it out. What was I talking about? The God, right? You know, and that stuck with me. I remember I heard that for the first time on my TikTok a while ago, and I was like, yeah, that is, I don't know, because I started thinking of various different connections that I have in my life, or different relationships that I have with different people in my life. And I questioned in every single one of them, am I letting the devil win in any of my relationships? And I don't think so. I don't think that I'm letting the devil win. It's just I'm more focused on allowing my God to win. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm trying to think if there's a better way of explaining it, but it's like, give me like a second, because I really am thinking if there's a better way to explain it. If you didn't know already, I mean, I can't force these philosophies. A philosopher does not force the philosophy onto others. That's one thing that I've learned. That philosophy has to be something that you learn on your own simply by hearing the brains of other people. I've been listening to some marvelous brains. So much to share, so much to learn. It's really beautiful, to be quite honest with you. And even if I've never met the person, like, for example, Socrates, right? I've been learning a lot about Socrates. I've been learning a lot about Andrew Huberman. Let's just talk about Andrew Huberman. He's in his own way a philosopher, but he's a neuroscience teacher, professor, a researcher. Sorry, I'm like in the middle of a burp because of the coffee. A researcher, philosopher. In my eyes, I think he's a philosopher because he's spreading, I guess, a thought around of how to be or react or have your brain work in the most optimal way possible, you know? And it's just a matter of sharing and listening and receiving thoughts. And I've been learning a lot from a lot of different people, a lot of people that I would aspire to be like. Not be them, but they have traits and characteristics and ideas and thoughts and viewpoints, perspectives on the world that I truly admire. And as much as I want to talk about these people, some of these people that I've been learning a lot from, the world, I can go back to the world because that's going to be the one that stops you from being great. The world. Everyone else who isn't in your world. I might sound psychotic when I say that I live in my own world, but I'm going to tell you right now, you need to have your own world. All right. It's, and I'm not saying like, what did J. Cole say? This is my canvas, and I'ma paint a perfect picture, babe. Exactly like that. This is your canvas. The world has already painted its own canvas, its own viewpoints. This is the way things are, and this is how you must think too. Crazy shit. But your mind is the most free place in the world, so might as well make it your own, right? Might as well make it your own world. Let's get into it, because this is like a little step for me to break out, I guess, in a way of my comfort zone. It's not even comfort zone, because in reality I'd be speaking about it, but I'm still catering to you, all right? Instead of catering to myself. For me to be happy with myself and the things that I'm saying in this podcast is something that I really have to focus a lot more on. When I started the Kickback podcast, I always thought, let's do a podcast so people could listen to the things that we had to say. And I've always thought that was the way to go about it, to say things or to have conversations that I think or feel that people would like to hear, right? And talking to myself is a little bit difficult because it's just me listening to myself and talking or responding to myself, you know? So it's up to me to, I guess, have this whole conversation. And usually you would allow the input of the other person, but here I am by myself. It's very, very different. Because I feel like I'm not rushed. I feel like I just keep going. But I started this podcast catering to the audience, the Kickback podcast, where I wanted everyone to kick back and relax. But I haven't been able to kick back and relax, dog. This entire time while I've had this podcast going, I haven't been able to do what this podcast is about. And that's kick back, relax, and just talk and speak your mind and have people listen to our conversation. And I guess learn what we just learned. But I was thinking about the audience first and me second. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to be a little bit more selfish in the future. But I feel like by me being more selfish and talking about things that I want to do and forgetting about you guys just a little bit more and not giving you exactly what you want to hear, it's going to give you a much better experience here at the Kickback podcast. Who knows? I don't know. Like, yeah, I've thought about that. Like, should I just change this podcast to my name? Because it's just more about me learning and you guys learning along with me. But I'm like, nah, I'm not changing the name to the Kickback podcast. The Kickback podcast is me. I am the Kickback podcast. Joan Peña. That's me. You know? And I'm learning a lot. I'm sharing a lot. But I want to do it. Want to do it. Interesting. You know, I have to really love this shit in order for me to actually do it all the time. I just never felt like I was ready or I guess good enough for the part yet when there's other people that I know can have such great conversations with someone else. And I feel like I wasn't there yet. That I can't have a conversation down to the level that people like Joe Rogan or Mike Tyson, when they go into the darkest or the most sacred conversations I guess you can have in this modern day. But it's just the experience that these guys have had. They run laps. They overlap me so many times when it comes to the amount of experience that they have encountered throughout their lives. I'm only 21, but I'm understanding so much now. It's scary because I'll never look at a lot of things in this world, in this life, the same ever again. As much as I want to. It's like the allegory of the cave thing again, where you go outside and you see the real world, but you can't go back to what you've seen or what you understood back then. Your perspective, your whole viewpoint has changed on a lot of different things. And it's scary because you'll never be able to see it again, but at the same time it's beautiful because you would never want to see them again like that at the end of the day. You know? It's more of you're frightening yourself when there's nothing to be frightened about. And here I am with this podcast and I'm about to fucking say some shit that for some people, it could be frightening, it could be scary, it could be triggering, it could be a lot of different things. But for me, I'm learning it. I'm understanding it, you know? I can't even say some of these triggering words now because YouTube will take it off and make me think that, oh, what you said is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. What you're feeling is wrong. What you're thinking is wrong. You cannot do that. By the way, you live in the US, land of the free, where... What? It's so contradictory of itself, you know? Where we live in the land of the free, but even the name, Andrew Tate, boom. I just got a bunch of y'all fucking triggered. Don't lie. You were like, oh, here we go. We're going into this fucking topic. You know? Elon Musk. He said that, but Elon Musk said this. He said that. He feels this way. How dare you? You're a fucking pig. You're, misogynistic. All these triggering words that you allow them to make you feel a certain way. And I'm saving you feeling that way by not speaking about it. But at the same time, by not speaking about it, it's indirectly made me feel a certain way too. So it's like, why should I sacrifice my feelings for yours? And I shouldn't. You have to care about yourself first compared to everyone else. As selfish as it sounds, you have to take care of yourself first. Because no one's going to be taking care of you. You might come to a time where no one's going to be taking care of you except for you. So you must learn to understand yourself, right? And Andrew Tate, here we go. Here we go talking about this. I can't wait for people to get triggered. I can't wait for people to... Hold on, my phone's not charging for some reason. It's been acting up. All right. Andrew Tate. He's recently been coming out on social media a lot more. I follow him on Twitter, so he's always tweeting since he got allowed on Twitter again by Elon Musk. But he's been coming up a lot more. He just had an interview with the BBC, and that shit was a fucking mess. I don't know what y'all were doing. You see what I mean? It's like you're why are you trying to make someone else feel terrible about themselves? Like, if you really want to understand whether or not Andrew Tate did something bad that everyone is accusing of, I don't know. For all I know, Andrew Tate could be that fucking person that everyone is saying. And that shit that I definitely would not agree with, just because I'm a fan of Andrew Tate and the things that he says doesn't automatically make me that way. And some people get it confused, because there's the same exact way that people are saying that oh, Andrew Tate is making these misogynistic little men that they don't care about women and they think they're a top G and they're super disrespectful. I think quite the opposite. I can sincerely say that I'm not saying that Andrew Tate made me because I made me, and I'm not letting anybody else take that away from me. All right, my parents started me and built a foundation for me, but I've been building me this entire time. Since I was a kid, I've been learning a lot more about things that I really, really am passionate about, and I've taken them to far lengths that I could have never imagined. The fact that I'm able to draw the way that I'm able to draw without even practicing that much anymore is surprising to me. I surprised myself so much. I impressed myself so much. This isn't wrong. I'm taking my time to speak. I'm sorry that I'm taking a little bit to there's huge pauses in between my thoughts, but I mean, you tried to do this for 36 minutes straight. You tried to talk to yourself, to your audience that is not even there, to a camera for 36 minutes before you start judging. I dare you. Go on. Try. And if you do it, bravo, dude. I wish I was at your level, and I will be one day. You see what I mean? I don't feel that ego. I don't feel that jealousy towards anyone. Because I know that I may not be as great as you, but motherfucker, I'm not there yet. All right? I haven't set myself up in that mindset to get where you are. If I wanted to be the greatest music producer in the world, I will be. You know what I mean? And I know nothing about how to make music right now. But if one day I were to say, you know what? I want to start making music. I have been growing a passion for music. I want to start creating. And one day I will be the best. Not for the world, but for me when it comes to making music. I can do that. I've tapped into that little section of my brain that makes me feel like the movie Limitless. I first saw that movie in my AP psychology class, Limitless. That's what it is. Being limitless. Yeah, we live in America, but you're limitless. You're just stopping yourself from being so. And I'm getting rid of limits every single day. Just when I think that, oh, I can't show up to my 9-to-5 job anymore. I can't do it. I'm somehow fucking there working 8 hours. Hauling ass. I did 7 miles at Best Buy the other day working. That's fucking crazy. 7 miles at a small ass Best Buy. I'm busting my ass. And even having a job, no offense to Best Buy at all. Listen, Best Buy has given me such a great experience. If I were to consider myself a average human, I will use average because normal isn't the right word. Average, and I want everyone to realize that you're not average. You want to be above average. You want to be far beyond average, and that's okay. Don't be afraid of doing so. All right, the world's going to stop you from doing so, but you should not think that. Keep reminding yourself how great you are. Keep working towards being the best, even if everyone else thinks that you're not. Feel it. Truly feel it. I'm not trying to listen. You may think that I'm talking to you, but I'm actually talking to myself. I'm trying to, again, go into that deeper level of myself to bring it out to you guys so you guys can see what I'm thinking, right? Going back to Andrew Tate and about, because that's what I'm saying. He's one of those people who really instilled that belief in me. Think about that for a second. He instilled that belief in me, but he instilled that belief in me. You know what I mean? It's still the belief of me in me. That you can be the best. Andrew Tate, I thank you, dog. I don't know where or like where my mindset would have been if like people like that didn't start coming up on my social media account, where I started seeing people wanting to be the best and saying that it's okay to be the best. You know? I may sound cringy, I may sound quote unquote inspirational. But no, like I really am setting out to be the best in anything that I do. Whether it be in podcasting, whether it be in my drawing abilities, if I want to pursue that to far greater depths, to editing, to the UFC. Maybe one day I'll get to work in the UFC. Maybe I'll be a commentator in the UFC. Maybe I'll be related with them in some sort of way. Maybe, who knows? Maybe at the age of 28, I decide maybe I want to start actually doing MMA and become the UFC champion. I've understood how difficult it would be. I've understood the challenges that are going to be coming my way. But I've also understood that they're only challenges if I allow them to be. Because I know how far and how much I've overcome and how much more I can overcome. You know what I mean? To think it and to actually do it is two different things. But we're taking steps. We're taking huge steps. Little, huge steps into doing it, you know? I've been going out on my walks in the morning. Andrew Huberman, right? Thank you, Andrew Huberman, for all of your information and knowledge that you've been sharing upon me. Making a break for sunlight, right? You wake up in the morning, first hour, I think it is. I would do it in the first 10 minutes of me getting up, right? I would wake up, and as much as it sucks to get out of my bed, as comfortable as it is, I get up, I put on my shoes, put on my sweater, don't even brush my teeth, don't even use the restroom. If I need to use the restroom, I make a break for the fucking toilet first. But I usually just go and make a break for sunlight because he says how great and how beneficial it is to your mind, to your day, to your mood, to everything. Just getting those photons from the light early in the morning, first thing first, once you wake up, getting that sunlight and how beneficial it is, right? Because it's the best way of doing so, of waking up, of getting your day started. I could thank him. I can thank Andrew Huberman for everything, dog. Like, I just started this relationship with Andrew Huberman, digital, you know, of just listening to the podcast and me thinking that he's explaining things to me, you know, when, who knows, maybe at the same time, it's something that he's explained to himself various amounts of times. Man, perfectionism, right? I don't even know where I was at. I don't know. It's just so hard doing this podcast, doing a conversation when you don't really practice it often. Because I guess you're not supposed to. Like, think about that for a second. Going back to like COVID, triggering warning for YouTube, because I know that they'll probably take it down too, because freedom of speech. If you take this down, it's freedom of speech. You're violating my freedom of speech. That's yeah, right? I guess that's how it works. But like, even COVID, right? You couldn't go and speak to people. As metaphorical as you want to take it, no, you were muzzled. You were muzzled by staying 6 feet apart. You were muzzled by sitting in your room and living on an artificial world where you can't distinctively tell what's real and what's fake. Social media and the real life. You're stuck in your room. You're on your TikTok. TikTok is blowing up. You're getting engagement with your fans who you think care so much about you, but you could die the next day and they wouldn't even have told a difference in the world. How sad is that? You weren't able to speak your mind. You weren't able to share your ideas. You weren't able to hear someone else's ideas, especially in a time where you were just alone with yourself, where the only ideas were the ones that were going on in your head. And if they were terrible ideas, you were putting yourself through a terrible time and not being able to share that with anybody. You know what I mean? Gladly for me, COVID wasn't exactly like that. I was, I guess in a way, too comfortable. I was very comfortable staying in my room the entire time. But now I look back at it and so much beauty was taken away from us in those years, and it's still being taken away today. For me, it was the beauty of myself, of who I am. And going back to Andrew Tate, because he just had that conversation with the BBC, and they were trying to instill that bad image, the bad figure to the audience, and even to Andrew. He was like you're trying to pull something out of me that's not there. Stop trying to make me think what you think. I feel like if you had taken your time to actually ask questions, not questions about what the media is saying. I'm saying ask questions to find out who that person is in front of you. Like I could have, I don't know. I guess if I were to have that conversation with Andrew Tate, it would be a little bit more biased because I really am, I guess in a way, thankful for the words that he's spoken, for the changes that he's made in my life, I guess, indirectly through myself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've stepped it up a lot in my mentality where I'm still trying to get comfortable with it and even speaking on it, especially speaking on it, because I really don't have these type of conversations where there's no rules. There's no limits. When I have a conversation with somebody, it sounds like this. Hey, you finding everything okay? All right, sounds good. Well, if you need anything, just let me know and I'll be glad to help you out. That's my conversation. Or, oh yeah, man, that PC right there, that can help you with this and that. Or my conversation would be like, hey, how you doing? Good? Me too. All right, have a great day. Like, our conversations that we're having with people on a daily basis are so limited now. So sometimes you just got to stop and have a true conversation with yourself. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. There's no judgment here. It's just me here in front of you. And there's no one to tell me that I can't be doing this. All right. Comments all you want down below. But how are you telling me that I cannot be me? This is actually happening. I'm not some social media artificial content person. At least I'm not anymore. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of being super artificial, of playing an act of this person. Like I can act in various scenarios, but when it comes to being me, that's the part that I really have to be true to. At the end of the day, compared to anything else, it's you who you have to be true to. If you're out here doing some stupid shit, you should stop and think, hey, if I'm doing some stupid shit, maybe I am some stupid shit as of right now. Not saying in general, not saying that I'll be that forever, But I know that because I'm doing this, it's making me be this. So what do I got to do? You got to improve on that. You got to change it. You got to get rid of that. Only then will you be able to get rid of that part that you don't like about yourself. See, like even the English language, I fear a little bit just because it's like I'm trying so hard to get it right instead of just speaking whichever way I want, whichever way makes sense to me, because it may not be making sense to you, but I guess I'm getting it. I'm doing you the favor of making it make sense to you. You know what I mean? It's like we're so ungrateful of a lot of little things, the littlest of things. But just the fact that we're able to understand is beautiful. But a lot of you are not willing to take the time to do so. And we can go over that over and over and over again. But you'll never grow to be anything if you don't understand what it means to understand. You know, I'm learning so much. I may just be rambling and I may just be just saying some shit that may not make any sense to some people. But these are thoughts that are going on in my head over and over and over again, right? That I haven't really been able to pinpoint or like say, this is the way that it is. You know, it is what it is. That's what I've been actually saying that a lot. It is what it is. But that's what it is for now. It doesn't mean that that's what it is forever. You know what I mean? So here I am right now as what I am right now. And it sucks. It sucks that I'm not to where I want to be, you know? I wish that I didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 job, but I am very grateful that I'm able to be in one if I wanted to. That I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to have a job in a country compared to some other countries that you can't even go to work. You know, little things. Appreciation, grateful. And grateful for my two hands that allow me to do these beautiful things, to create art, to allow me to interact with the artist inside of me, for the mind to be able to process these thoughts, to share and receive information, to make sense of things, you know? The world could be so great. The world, listen, everybody out there, you can be so great. The world can be so great, but it's just the people that don't want to make that difference. They want to find an easy way out, loopholes, excuses, any way possible to not face the challenges that are going to approach them. Again, we're about to get into something a little bit more triggering, I guess. But again, all conversation. This is all just conversation, opinions, thoughts, ideas that you can or you may or may not agree with. But that's the beauty of it, all right? That you don't have to agree with everything that I think. I may not even agree with everything that I think. But that's what I'm thinking right now. It may be different in 2 years, in 2 days, in 2 hours. I may think differently right after this podcast. I may go after this podcast and be like, oh, wait. Maybe that part was wrong. Oh, I never thought about it like this. That's interesting. Wow. That opened up a brand new perspective. Right? A new thing on Twitter has come out. A new documentary. I think his name is Mark Wallace. But it's called What is a Woman? Right? Joan, you have no part in saying what a woman is because you're not a woman. And I don't. You know, I'm not out here saying this is what a woman is. All right, because I don't know what it is. You know, and according to the documentary, it sounds like nobody knows what a woman is. You know, the fact that we're questioning it, yeah, it is sad, but if no one questions it, who will? You know what I mean? Somebody's got to question it. And you can get offended, you can get angry, you can get triggered, you can get etc., and all of the above. But you got to understand it, right? You got to understand where all these people are coming from and what they think and why they think that. And something that I've got from that documentary is that people have come to the term of being a woman as an excuse or as an easy way out of doing something difficult. And that is so disappointing to hear. You know? Like, oh, I'm a woman now, so I'm able to do this and this and this, and you can't tell me anything about it. And because you can't do anything about it, now I feel either entitled or empowered, or I feel I have the right to get offended. I have the right to get hurt, to feel this way. And that's good. Like, you can go feel that way. But just because you feel that way doesn't mean I have to feel that way too. You know what I mean? Again, all triggering stuff. I really don't like having these conversations, but we've come to a place where these conversations need to be made by regular everyday people. I'm only 21 years old, dude. I'm only a kid. I'm a grown up, but I'm just a kid. I haven't been able to experience the world in contrast to some of these bigger people, wealthier people, in a way privileged people. You know, I'm not saying that like as an entitlement thing. It's just like, dog, you have a privilege. You're over here eating lobster in a yacht. Lobster's a prison food, and lobster, you shouldn't eat lobster because it's a sin. Dog, I haven't had a lobster in so long. And it's so sad that here I am now, you know, and I've gone through those times where I did feel like a prisoner, and I still a little bit do, you know, that I did feel like a prisoner, that I did feel like I was poor, that I felt like I wasn't really competent in anything that I did. And I still didn't deserve that lobster. You know? That the lowest class food, the bottom feeders of the ocean, the cockroaches of the ocean, scavengers that I cannot afford, that I am not worthy to have a bottom feeder. You know? That perception that's been instilled into us that we should be feeling this way because we can't, you know? Going back to the whole woman thing, what is a woman? I heard all these various responses from different people in the documentary. Some people were educated in woman and gender studies, and they still could not come up with the answer to what is a woman. There's one thing that I could agree with, and it was like, oh, a woman is something that you just feel, that you just are. If you feel like a woman, you are a woman. And we're like, what? I mean, at least for me, what? Okay. I'm just going to say it out here, and this is what I think. Get triggered, get mad at me, hit the unsubscribe button, hit everything. Fucking, you know, wish ill upon me. That's so sad that you would do that. But I think we can, it's a delusion, you know? Like, no, you're not. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this because it's so fucking hard, but a man is a man and a woman is a woman. All right. And for me, what is a woman? It's a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's how the documentary ended. Your wife said it so perfectly low key. She said, a woman is an adult female. And I was like, yeah, that's what a man is. A man is an adult male, right? Adult male and an adult female. I feel like that makes sense so far. And I feel like that's what it is. But there are various traits that come along with being a woman, with being a man. And I even heard, like, you can literally hear the people that they're interviewing, and they're saying that you come into this world and you're already assigned a certain role, and I don't want to do that role. So you don't want to do your role. You know what I mean? Like, you just said it yourself. You don't want to do what you're supposed to do. And it's so sad that they're using the word woman to make that excuse. You know? Because they don't see the beauty in woman the way you're supposed to, I guess, in a way. You know? I'm so lucky. Like, listen, I have a girlfriend, and like, thinking about forever is always such a scary thing, right? But then you remember all the beauty and all the nurturing, all the warmth that you feel with someone that you love, with a woman that you love, that's there to take care of you in any way possible, you know? It makes me rethink about the future and realize, like, oh, that wouldn't be bad at all. You know what I mean? A woman's a lot of things. A woman is a grown-up woman, is a grown-up female, right? But a woman is nurturing. A woman is caring. A woman is... There's so many great qualities to it, you know? Roles that come in with... especially with... And even with a man. Not especially. Sorry, that was the wrong word. And even when with being a man, you know, I could just say, like, oh, I'm a man because I was born with this thing, and I'm a grown-up male, you know? But I can also tell you that being a man has a lot of traits that you have to really put up with and really understand and really figure out and work through them every single day. You know, for me, a man should be strong. A man should be knowledgeable, caring, kind, courageous, live with integrity, be determined, be honorable, you know? And people, a lot of men think that they can't be like that they can't feel that honor, that it's so hard to do so they just give up and they quit and they find some sort of excuse just so they don't feel that way. It's a very confusing world we live in, where you want to think a certain way, but because everyone else might not think that way, you tend to shut yourself up. What is going on? Why is the land of the free feeling like a sense of slavery? You know? Joan, you can't speak on slavery because you're not black and you've never been through slavery. And no, slavery is in the minds. Now, there was a lot of evil doing in American history, but slavery, that's one thing I've learned, that slavery is truly in the mind. And there is evil in the world. And if there's evil in the world, there's a lot of holy, beautiful things in this world too. And that's what makes sense. That's what I've learned makes the most sense to me. For every one thing, there's another. For every man, there's a woman. For every good thing, there's a bad thing. For every great moments in life, there's a bad thing, you know? And it's just up to you to know that there is a bad thing and be able to recognize that that bad thing is here, you know? Because it will come and hit you, and you can't play the little victim role that, oh, the world doesn't want you to do this, and oh my God, I'm the victim, I feel hurt, so I'm just gonna, you know? You can play that role, but it's not okay. It isn't okay to sit there and let the world revolve around you. Just the way that you say that people are self-centered and they think the world revolves around them, that they think that they're the best and that they're better than everyone else. Like, I'm sorry, but you think that you're worse than everyone else. And you have found the excuse for it to be okay to be worse than everyone else. Instead of putting up with what comes in front of you, facing the challenges head on, and to explain it in simpler terms, just stop being a bitch. I've been a bitch for a very, very long time, and I still am a bitch in various aspects, but little by little, I'm kicking that bitch out, you know? I'm not allowing any room for me to continue being a bitch, all right? And I know that it might sound very, very rude, but at the same time, you kind of have to be a little harsh on yourself, man. The world is full of a lot of evil in it, all right? I'm telling you, there's so many people that could be out there who you think could be, in a way, benefiting you, but you're not benefiting yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of evil in this world. A lot of confusion in this world. But you gotta work through it. That's what I'm saying. That's what life is. Figuring it out. Trying to clear up that foggy picture. Try to see it as best as you can. See yourself as best as you can. As the best that you can. This room is so quiet. There's nothing here. There's no sound. 1 hour and 7 minutes? Oh my God. But yeah, going back to the documentary, What is a Woman? If you guys haven't seen it, go on Twitter, search up What is a Woman. Highly recommend it. Parents, please watch it. And there's so many things that I would love to say, but I know that this video would get taken down, I guess, in a way, because people, I don't even know, because I'm a small podcast. Like, in reality, who fucking cares? But yeah, everything that was shown in that documentary was fucking crazy. I could not believe what everyone was saying, that they couldn't answer what is a woman. All right, that they asked women, they asked people, doctors who change people to become a woman, who have changed themselves to become a woman, who don't know what it means to be a woman. They haven't found the beauty in the word. They haven't found the ugly in the word. There's a lot, there's a lot of ugly in being a woman. There's a lot of beauty in being a woman. There's a lot of ugly being a man. There's a lot of beauty in being a man. Being a man is tough. I've had it easy. I've had it very easy, where I don't have to go through some hardships that some of you men are going through on a daily basis. I'm thankful to my God that He hasn't put those circumstances in front of me. And who knows, maybe they come my way in the future, but at least I'll be able to understand them more and be able to handle them smoothly. Much more smoothly. Much smoother? Yeah, I think that's the English for it. But it showed a lot of disturbing monstrous scenes of people lying to each other and deceiving and manipulation, and so sad to see. And what's even sadder is that people are thinking that this is normal, that this is the correct way of going around doing things, that if you think the opposite way, that you are wrong and that you are misogynist and you are a transphobe and you are all these terrible words. I care about everyone. That's a thing. Kanye said something that I loved, and it was because there's that whole nihilistic aspect of thinking and having that viewpoint of the world that nothing matters, so you shouldn't care about anything. But Kanye said something that really stuck with me. He said, "No, it's not that nothing matters. It's not that everything is fake. It's that everything is real. Everything matters. Everything in this world matters, right? And because everything in this world matters, there's just so many things to choose from. So it's up to you to choose what things matter to you, you know? And if somebody wants to become of the opposite sex, right? If they want to just change one day because they don't want to do their part, like, it's so sad to see them have to go through something like that. But they don't know what they want, but they're trying to tell you what they want or what you want. It's like, how are you allowing somebody who doesn't know what they want tell you what you want? And then when it comes to children, because that's what the whole thing was mostly about, was about the children and making sure that they are raised up to feel okay with being themselves. That's honestly one of the biggest takeaways that I got from that documentary, is that aspect of being comfortable in your own skin, and that these liars, these manipulators, these cheaters are out here trying to tell you that because you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, that you can change every single aspect around what you are, but you're always going to be you. One thing that I heard in a podcast about it was like, oh, people think that once you start making those changes to yourself, that you're turning into this new person. But in reality, the way that they explained it, and this was a educated person, an educated professor, not like these professors who are telling you one thing because that's what the world thinks, but they've studied the evidence, they've studied the factual science, they've taken away the human aspect and encountered a true spiritual, I guess, in a way, sense, or come to terms on how the brain works. I don't know, right? I don't know how you gain credibility in this world, but what I learned is that they care, all right? They truly care about how you feel, about how you think, and how you're going to be living your life, all right? And they said that that when you start making those changes, that you're not actually changing anything. You're just pausing who you really are, and that maybe years down the line, you I guess in a way, wake up and you press play, you stop the pause, you press play to who you are, and it may not be pretty, you know? I mean, how ridiculous is that? Telling a person how they should be a man, how they should be a woman, when they don't even know. They don't even know what it means. It's like if someone were to come and tell me, what is a man? You know? Just if that interview question were to come up to me and they were to ask me, what is a man? You know? I feel like I've asked myself that question every single day, because that's what I work hard on being, a man. That I know that there's going to be very, very hard challenges in being a man, but it's all part of it. It's all part of the process that you have to do it, you know? I love that they went to a different country and they asked people who haven't been under this whole modernized woke culture, that they're just like, what the fuck? These guys are weird. What do you mean? Like, this is a man, that's a woman. Like, I don't know why you guys are making it so confusing. Just do what you have to do. You know? I feel like that's, at the end of the day, just do what you got to do. Create. You know? Create yourself. You're a man. Create yourself to be the best man that you can be. You're a woman. Create yourself to be the best woman that you can be. You know? Best person that you can be. Man or woman. Be the best person that you can be. Best artist that you can be. The best creator that you can be. Don't let these limitations and these thoughts and these ideas that are being put upon you by the world and by the way you should think, and thinking that this is the way that makes happy people. Pride, right? The whole Pride Month thing. The whole Pride Month thing. It's not that I have a problem with people showing their pride in, I guess, being being gay or being lesbian or anything like that. Like, listen, you can go do you. Like, and people get triggered with that too. Like, what do you mean go be me? Like, you're not okay with me being me, so like, why should I go be me? I was like, no, it's not that I'm not okay with you being you. It's just that you're not okay with you being you. And you don't like that I'm not okay with you not being okay with you being you. I want you to be okay with you. I want you to be great with you. Only then, you know, man, it's so hard to explain. So, words are so hard, especially now where even your words have been limited. You're so free. You are so free. And I'm still learning that. I'm listening to Rick Rubin? I keep forgetting his name. Rick Rubin, I think it is. He studies creativity. He's very creative. He's very free. He's very open. He's an artist. He's a creator. I love it. I love it. That's what I aspire to be, you know? Creator of my own world, my own legacy, my own future. We're on the right path, I feel like. Once you start questioning things, that's the start to being on the right path. That's what I think. You know? We can keep going. An hour and 18 minutes. I'll start like getting towards the end, so that way I can end this podcast and have you guys go on with your day. 1 hour and 18 minutes. Sorry that I've been rambling a lot. It's just a lot of intrusive thoughts. Not a particular topic on what I am talking about for the majority or for the whole podcast. But if I were to describe this podcast, is just letting go of the fear of being yourself. You know, your true self. Reality. You know? And that was one thing that documentary showed, is facing reality. Stop living in a delusion. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish my thing, right? My topic on the whole pride thing. I think we'll finish it with that, right? It's not that I have anything wrong with pride. It's just that I know that there's a lot of people that are out there doing it for the wrong reasons, that are doing it as a way out. And I just don't see the pride in that, you know? I don't know. Is there a woman's pride month? A woman's pride month? I don't know. Is there a men's pride month? I don't know. It's like pride is distinguished or explained as a sin in the Bible, like the 7 deadly sins, right? Pride is one of those sins that you shouldn't have. Pride, because it will make you, it builds ego. Pride has a relationship with ego. That's what I've learned. It's putting that ego aside and leaving it at the door when you go to do anything. Putting that ego aside and leaving it at the door when it comes to living your life fully, truly. I've let go of my ego a lot. Like I'm still, I wouldn't say egotistical about a lot of things. It's just I comprehend a lot more now about myself. So like if anybody were to come and tell me, no, this is what makes you a man. This is what makes you a man. These traits, this, that makes you a man. Like I can listen to it, but at the end of the day, I've already asked myself these questions. And I've already come to the conclusion of the things that I need to do in order to be that definition of myself, of being the best. The best man, the best creator, the best, I guess, God of my own world. You know what I mean? I don't want this like conversation to go into somebody's head and think like, oh, this guy is so this and that I'm trying to change your shift or your viewpoint, that I'm trying to make you understand me, that I'm trying to instill my philosophy upon you. I'm just asking you questions, you know? I'm asking you questions that maybe nobody has asked you. Maybe you've never asked yourself, you know what I mean? So I'm asking you, you know, who are you? What do you want to be? How will you get to where you want to be? What's stopping you? Are you okay with yourself? What can get you okay with yourself? Is that the right way of going with it to be okay? Is that the right option? Is that the right path? Is that, even if you don't come to like the full, complete, one sentence answer, try to get as close as possible to that answer. Be grateful in the various aspects of your life, even if things are going exactly as you want them and you think that you've worked very, very hard for. What the fuck? They're drilling something. I guess that's my cue. I forgot what I was saying. Thanks, drill. I forgot exactly what I was gonna say, but yeah, ask yourself these questions. Learn to understand yourself to the fullest extent that you can possible, and I promise you that things will be a lot easier by simply asking questions. And if there's somebody around you who doesn't appreciate you asking those questions, it's because they've never taken the time to answer those questions themselves or even ask themselves those questions. You know? Appreciate even the smallest things in your life, because you will not realize how much that you will miss them when they're out of your life. You know? Hold on to your family members. Hold on to all these experiences that you've had throughout your life. All those moments, all those emotions. That's what made you you. So hold on to yourself, as much as possible, and don't let that go. Even when you feel like you're on the brink of losing yourself, always at least hold down. You know what I mean? What are they looking for? I think that's going to be ended. I was going to keep going, but I see that there's somebody at the door, but I don't know what they want. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Joan Pena's Kickback podcast. If you guys happen to enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. All that fancy stuff. There's construction in the background now, so yeah, I'm definitely going to call it now. 1 hour and 25 minutes of me talking to myself. And am I scared to post this podcast? Fuck yes, I am. Am I going to do it anyways? Fuck yes, I am. I don't know. Why live in fear? Right? If I live in fear, it's because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I can be with myself and be perfectly fine. I don't care what others think anymore. I don't care if you think you're better than me. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't have the energy to focus that on you, to focus my mentality on you and whatever you believe. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm closed off. No, I have taken into consideration what you've said. I've taken into consideration what you've thought, what you've felt. But I've also come to my own understanding of it as well. And I hope that a lot of you that are listening to this podcast don't understand me, but understand you. Start to, at least. In every decision that you make in your life, understand it. With every emotion that you feel, understand it. Every experience, understand it. Every moment, understand it. Every piece of information, understand it. I have fallen in love with understanding. Period. I've learned to understand myself a lot more. God has given me the opportunity to experience and try and attempt to understand love. Never thought that it would happen like this soon. And I don't know how long it'll last. But I am very grateful for everything that's been taken play in my life so far, even if things aren't to the best that they can be. I know that this bad time that I'm going through in life needs to happen. Yeah. Just keep learning and understanding. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Keep learning, keep understanding, keep building, keep creating, keep believing in you. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. I will catch you guys all in the next podcast. I'm looking forward to having another conversation with you guys. I'm looking forward to have another conversation with anybody that comes in this podcast because I want to learn a lot more. I want to learn about everything and about other people and about me, about life. Yeah. All right. Crack back. And yep, that's it. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. We're on the right path to becoming very wise. This is going to be very scary. It's going to be a lot to take in. But you first have to see the darkness in order to see the light. Remember, Joan, remember. You're hearing yourself. You're seeing the dark. Now imagine the light, because it's coming. We're going for it, Joan.